I haven't even listened to Cassie's original diss.
Really?
Nah. I didn't because I'm just not a fan of Cassidy anymore, man. I think his rapping style is so outdated, man.
You didn't listen to the Perjury song?
Nah.
It was all right.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're checking it out. It's Spence from the Highly Advised Podcast. This is episode 68. I'm here with a couple good friends, a couple brothers of mine, Lau, Nigel, otherwise known as Big Cozy, Too Cozy, or otherwise known as the main event. His other half of the tag team, which I would love to say Relaxing No G_Jackson, or what the fans have now learned to call him, Hill Jackson. So without further ado, how can I forget myself? The Measuring Stick, otherwise known as Saint Kitch, aka Spence. So with no further ado, what's going on, you guys? How's it going? Let's say what's up to the fans. How y'all been since the last time we talked?
Well, shouts out to my brother Spence. Shouts out to my brother Hill Jackson. But to the listeners, all you guys are still jabronis. You guys are all Rudy Poo Candy asses. That's right. It's me, the bad guy, the main event, Big Cozy, Too Cozy. I'm doing good. Week was good. Looking forward to finishing up this week so we could get into next week because you know what's going on next week. So I'm good.
Real main event.
The real main event. Exactly.
Things are good for me. I am chilling. I started a new little thing this week. I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. Honestly, things are good right now. Just chilling out and just waiting to see as to what goes on, in the next coming weeks.
I hear that. I trust me. I'm just like both of y'all. I can't wait. We're going to get through this episode. We're going to give you guys a great show. And then we got another great show coming to you for you guys. And then next week, we're all anticipating the real show that we get to give to you guys.
But hold on, wait. Remind them where they can follow us at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I'm quite sure more than likely, if you're listening to this, you're probably wondering where you can check us out more at, or at least get notified when we're dropping a new episode or anything related to MMA and hip hop that we cover. You can check us out on Instagram at the Highly Advised Podcast, or you can check out our Twitter, which is Advised Highly. But of course, you love hearing our voices. You like our opinions. You want to know more about what's going on. So I would suggest you see our lovely faces at the Highly Advised Podcast on YouTube. But go ahead.
The YouTube people have been holding it down for us, actually watching our videos, you know what I mean? Shouts out to the YouTube watchers,
Shout out the advisors.
The advisors, sure, we'll call them that. Shouts out to y'all, you know what I mean? And we appreciate, the comments, the hate, the love, all that, because people are going to speak their mind and we're here for it. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Please leave comments, leave reviews, give us ratings. It helps us spread the awareness to all you bum friends and all your dumb family members.
Jeez, man.
Just help out 3 young, positive, extremely positive Black young brothers.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to grow and make this podcast even more fun than before. So sounds please do that
for us. You said bum friends and what family members?
Dumb.
My man's came on the back end and was like, let me clean that up. Yeah, but please make sure to subscribe.
Hey,
listen, like, comment, and subscribe.
Tell your has-been grandfather,
God.
Do you want to feel young again? Do you want to feel young again, Grandpa?
What?
Play the Highly Advised Podcast.
Yeah, but speaking of grandfathers, right?
Right.
Of course, they can always check us out to make themselves feel young, but they also, I'm quite sure they checked out the verses with Lox, where they probably felt like they were 30 years younger than they are currently. So, I mean, it was, I don't know if you guys had a chance to actually watch it or not, but it was really entertaining, man.
It was crazy. Jadakiss went in there and did his thing. You know what I mean? Everybody was, saying Al Qaeda, Jada, all that other shit. Like, he went in there and really like put on a nice performance. I enjoyed watching the whole thing.
Yeah, same here, man. Like it was hands down probably one of the best performances I've seen, along with unfortunately being wrong that Dipset could actually get the Lox out of here. They were able to prove like, yo, these are like, this is the highest level of like, or no, this is like what a veteran looks like a highly skilled veteran. Like, how we see like in MMA where you'll see a fighter where they're close to like almost in their late 30s, almost early 40s, and they're still performing at a top level. Like DC lost, but even DC, huh?
What are you talking about?
No, well, I'm just saying like in terms of a fighter, like where we see fighters where they fight even when they get older. Let's just use Floyd Mayweather, for instance, right? Perfect example. Even though he's like in his late 30s, still performing at a high level. This is what we were able to see with the Versus, nonetheless, right? Where we're seeing these guys that are veterans, 30 years, Jadakiss, 30 years in the game, performing at such a high level to the point that like it left the whole world shocked. And it's safe to say I think he has solidified his spot at top 5 dead or alive, in the words of Jadakiss himself. So it was an amazing performance. Did you have a chance? You have a chance to watch it, Lau?
I saw highlights.
Highlights.
I've already said this in the past, listeners. I don't watch Versus. The only two I saw was Snoop Dogg RP versus DMX, RP to him, and Gucci versus Jeezy. I should be watching these Versus. I just don't. Right. It's very accessible to me. I could go on Instagram. I could go on Apple Music, but
it's not even on Apple Music.
Oh, they took it off of that?
Yeah, they're not with Apple anymore. They went with Triller. Right? Yeah, Triller.
Well, I could go on Instagram. So
yeah,
because I'm not getting no fucking Triller. I'm not Triller.
I mean, but know what you could have done, if anything. You still had a chance to hear them if you had Apple Music for the live stream that Kanye West did for Donda. Because they ended up, I guess Kanye saw the verses and he had to go pull them because we ended up getting the Lox on the Donda project, which unfortunately hasn't came out. If you are listening to this right now,
yeah, what's this, like week 4 now? Because apparently this was teased at early July, then it got pushed to late July,
right?
And now August 6th, per the spokesperson, whatever his fucking name is,
Justin boy.
And then now August 15th is August 13th and August 15th is the 2 new dates that I'm seeing. I'll believe it when I see it with Kanye. With that being said, though, because we could probably talk about the disappointment of him not releasing the album, what I will say is that the performance itself, because I did catch some of it live. I didn't watch the whole thing. The motherfucker was streaming from 12 midnight the prior night till the event, which was, it doesn't happen too often. Let's say that much. So I think it's kind of genius from the guy, though, as far as like the performance itself, because it caught the attention of a lot of people. And it sounds like from people who was actually there, if I'm not mistaken, Spence, you were there again, right?
Yep.
Yes, indeed, man.
So, I couldn't how I got the tickets. Who'd you join?
Hey.
Part of Team Jamaica. That's what you're But like, from people that was there at the event, that were saying like, hey, this sounds like a more fleshed out album. The performance was crazy with him rising up to the top of the stand. Shouts out to Kanye for that, though. Like, I got to give him one of these. Like, bless that man's heart, because like you don't see too many rappers going out of the way to do that. I mean, Travis Scott may do something similar, but Kanye, man, he's holding that championship belt when it comes to performances for rappers.
What made me laugh about the whole thing was he had these 2 women sitting in this room like very still for like what seemed to be hours. Like,
with the red dresses.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I'm not sure as to how long they were in there, but they looked really still, and it was just like very crazy to see.
Hold on, so okay, because I ended up checking that stream out at one point, and I thought my thing was freezing. Because I saw some woman sitting there and I thought it was Anna Wintour at first, right? And I'm like, oh, he has Anna Wintour here. This must he must really, he's about to drop this album. He has to be if she's here, right? And then I'm like, okay, maybe my thing is buffering. Maybe my Wi-Fi is crappy at the moment. So the whole time I'm thinking this person was just sitting still the whole time.
Yeah, and then randomly, Sci-Hi looked to come in out of the picture randomly and start doing like it was crazy. Yeah,
of all people.
Yeah, it was just
he was doing like martial arts, right?
Yeah, he was doing martial arts shit. And then like he started joking around. It was obviously like, you know, I guess he was just in the room, but it was different. You know, I haven't seen much like this.
You won't. And Spence, what kind of service do you have? You said that your service Wi-Fi, buffering, whatever.
Hey man, listen, I got blessed. I got too blessed to be stressed. Wi-Fi, man.
I hear you.
Hey man, as long as you save your money. So
yeah, hey man, exactly, man. It comes in time. It works when it needs to. It worked. It worked when I needed to buy the ticket for the show.
There you go, Metro PCS to the rescue. No, for a listeners, Spence, he knows how to handle his shit.
Nah, he's good.
My Wi-Fi did come in handy when I wanted to get this ticket, right? And
okay.
I'm not even gonna go through the whole story of the before the show and the after the show craziness, right? But I can say this: when I got to the show, same thing. Everybody sitting around waiting. I timed myself this time, so I got there not too long before the show started versus sitting there for 2 hours, like Kanye did the first time. Though he did make people wait again, and he did have. I didn't try to get merch this time because I just knew, like, hey, I know what I'm here for. Kanye had everybody flooding the gates this time. Apparently, actually, this is pretty interesting. So I get to the show, I get to my seat. And of course, checking Twitter, all of this stuff, people are saying Jay-Z has flown in. I see Solange goes on live on her Instagram about, she just starts singing. I don't know if that is connected to Kanye or she has an album coming out. Who knows? But all I know is I get there, people are start yelling, talking about, oh, yeah, I can't. Hopefully Jay-Z comes out and performs. And I'm thinking, hey, I went to this last time. Kanye didn't say a word. But I'm gonna let you find that on your own. So, and the show ends up starting. Everybody goes crazy, whatever. And this time, if like you guys said, if you saw the stream, you saw everybody was wearing these bulletproof vests, and Kanye was dressed out in all these spikes at one point, or somebody was. So he kind of went with that theme this time. But this time it was like his bid. So I'm just giving the listeners a visual of like what this idea of what it was like being in there, like. Yeah, all you saw this time, because the first show, it was just nothing but a all white. The whole football field was white. This time, at the 50-yard line, it was like this circle of lights, and then a bid. And apparently, like it was like in the middle of the whole thing. So I guess you can see it with the roof open on the stadium or whatever, right? Kanye starts performing. People are like kind of lost because they don't know what's going on because of the music. But then next thing you know, you start realizing, luckily for me, I know the songs. So I started rapping to them. You start hearing it. And then next thing you know, you start seeing this crowd of people start running into the scene or whatever around Kanye. And the person sitting next to me is like, oh yeah, I heard you're supposed to wear all black and you can get on the floor, da-da-da. And next thing you know, it's just a performance nonetheless. And I mean, I could go through all like the little granular details, but it would be a lot. We wouldn't have that much time. I wouldn't have enough time for it. That's like a whole episode in itself, I feel like. But I can say this, like at one point, the show is just, at some point you just recognize it as a performance. And this time I can say with Kanye, though he didn't speak, you can tell that this, to me, it goes into my theory that I think this is more of a performing arts type of thing. I think Kanye is really shifting himself away from just music itself and going into more of a, hey, I'm a complete artist now, right? Where you look at just his influences from the fashion industry to the art world and how he's been able to always pull those things together. I think this time this is what his plan is, because you realize there's people all around him, and then looking on from what's going on in the back, like via like the stream, you can tell like, okay, some of these people that are standing there are like famous people, and you just hearing different songs and all of this. And like, it's so much I could really say, but I'll just jump to the end, right? Oh, shout outs to Conway, because he is on I heard his verse also on this album, and it was amazing. But at the end, like you guys were saying with him ascending, I'm leaving because I'm thinking, okay, Kanye's done. Looks like somebody's walked off. Kanye pulled this trick last time when everything was done. And as we're going up the stairs, you hear No Child Left Behind, and you see these lights just blaring up through the roof because the roof is open. And you just start seeing Kanye ascend. It was like probably one of the most magical things I've ever seen before. And like you said, Lau, like we've never seen someone put this much into the work, especially as a rapper. Maybe Travis Scott. Drake has done this thing of the whole basketball court, the stage the size of a basketball court, but it's just him running back and forth.
Right.
This was like one of the most craziest things, and it was scary as a fan, as a long-term fan of Kanye. It's probably one of the scariest things to watch. And I just say that because when you look at it, it's like he's probably at least like 100. It looks like 100 feet in the air, practically. And I mean, you're a wrestling fan, so you've heard certain stories. Like I forget the certain wrestler, but
RP Owen Hart.
Yeah, like it was one of those moments of like just having that memory is like, this could be very scary because this is like, you could tell this is someone willing to put everything into this. So shout outs to Kanye for that. I eventually just left after seeing that because I was just like, it was just so much to take in, but you can tell that this is definitely a project that we won't be getting for a couple more weeks. I don't think this will be out I don't think this album will come out until Drake puts his album out, unfortunately. And I think that's based off chatter that you see via social media, as well as like what Kanye seems to be doing. But I will say from what I've heard, this is a great album. Hopefully Kanye is able to figure out the best way to capitalize on the hype that he still has around this album, because you have other producers out here taking shots at him. And I'm not sure if you guys saw, but during the release of Nas's King Disease 2, that Hit Boy had this whole soliloquy of, oh, it was just me and Nas. There was nobody else. I didn't need 100 producers. I'm not doing no performance or whatever, just to kind of showcase this album. But I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but that was like some of the things I saw coming into this album. But so this was another great album for that Friday. So
I enjoyed this album.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I think that, Nas and Hit Boy, did it again. And I think that this album is another good one for this year. I'm actually kind of surprised because I thought this album was going to be a whole bunch of B-sides. You know what I mean? And it didn't feel that way.
Nah, it didn't at all. To me, this felt like it really felt like this was like hey, let's get together and let's do this all over again. Like all the B-sides are probably still tucked away in the vault somewhere. Did you get a chance to check it out, Lau?
Yeah. I was just sitting there waiting for both of you guys to finish speaking. I just thought you guys could have, tongue wrestle about how much you love the fucking album. I'm just saying, man, like you guys are so reminiscent over it. I listened to the album. I thought the album was all right.
That's all you got for
I thought the album was all right. I like the song with Lord Hill. I thought that song was good. It was nice to hear Lord Hill rap.
Boo.
Boo. You could boo me all you want to, man. I'm giving you my honest thoughts.
I know. It's just because you said Lauryn Hill. That's all.
I did like the last song too. Nas is good. I thought that was dope. What's another song? Moment. Yeah, that was that was a dope song too. So the album to me was cool. It was solid. I just, I'm not raving about it, but it was a solid album though.
I can respect that.
What I will say, it is the best rap album to come out this weekend. I'll say that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I got it more than the album of the weekend. I may have this right now. To me, right now, after listening to it for part of the weekend, as of right now, this is probably like high in the list of rap album of the year right now for me.
I knew
like,
it.
I mean, I'm. Hey, yo, listen.
Did you say that about Isaiah Rashad?
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. Yo, that's the beauty of music. You get
No,
new
man,
music.
that's recency bias, man. You can't do that.
All right. So what I can say is this, right? I will say this. Like, even outside of that, listening to this album, to me, it felt like this is probably like the best Nas I've heard in a long time.
Since King's Disease 1.
Nah, I wasn't a fan of King. I wasn't a fan of King's Disease.
Really?
I like it.
I thought you did like that album.
I think it was a good album, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Like last year we had too much good music that was like it couldn't compete. Like between Freddie Gibbs, Griselda, and so many other artists, like it couldn't compete. But this year,
go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, this year so far, is definitely one of my favorite albums at the moment. Like, I mean, granted, things always change, and of course, you gotta still consume and process.
Correct.
But like
it did just come out.
Exactly. Like, but even listening to Nas rap and hearing all of his other hearing the majority of all his other albums, like more recently, like this is like, to me, this just sounds like a more refined Nas, similar to, and maybe it's the Jada effect, similar to what we had talked about with Jadakiss, where it seemed like Jada is like, it just shows a professional at like a professional that hasn't taken a decline in like their craft. And it kind of seemed like that with this album in terms of the best beat selection, with the best rhymes that I can get from Nas all together. Cause I mean, Nas always had a bad history of picking beats. So
I think Nas is an all-time great. I think when you talk about greatest rappers of all time, I think Nas is easily top 5. And
he has to be.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
Top 5 any generation. I just think that he is a better rapper than a lot of fucking rappers. Like, but the whole beat selection thing could hinder certain people's perspectives. But I just think, like, lyrically, I'm like, there's not too many people better than this guy. There really isn't.
Well, here's what I will say, right? Because of that, and because like he put out King's Disease last year, and I enjoyed that album, and a lot of other people did. Like, I think that like with this album to me is going to be in the top 10 of the year. I think it is a pretty damn good album. That's what I will say. But like, I think, you know, this little 2-year run that Nas has had so far, at the least, is like something that's, you know, he's kind of killing it. You know what I mean?
Shouts out to Nas for that, because I think that's dope. Obviously, he don't need to make money off of music anymore with all the investments and everything he got going on. He's obviously just doing this for the passion and the love of the game. Yeah. So, if he keeps on doing this, man, he's only going to continue to move up the great ladder. The ladder of, imagine if Nas dropped the album on the same quality of King's Disease for like the next 3 years. And I'm not saying that each album has to be called King's Disease, but I'm just saying, and then let's say each album gets better over time. Now you have to throw him up there in the top 3, top 2, because I'm like, he's stepping it up. But that's just all hypothetical, though.
Right. I mean, I think I think you have a good point, though, because I do feel like, and this is probably one of the takeaways I got from this album, especially along with the verses as well, that I think this, especially with this album, I think this is kind of showing us now that rap, I think, is going into like its phase of how we had like the Rolling Stones, right? Where even once they got old, they were still able to tour and sell out arenas and so on and so forth, even as old legacy acts. I think in terms of artistry, because I think that's the biggest issue that most rappers have as they get older. They're more likely rapping because they need the money, not because they want to do it because of like passion. So I think we're slowly getting that era of rappers now, where someone like Nas, like you said, is not saying it has to be, it's all hypothetical, but if at this point, like someone that's been doing this for 30 years and they're getting with the best producers today with all the knowledge that they have, the rhymes that they've written, refine their skills and still sound like they're in top shape. I mean, it's not impossible that Nas could end up being like, he may have like at least maybe 2 or 3 more of these. Maybe not, I'm not saying in the next 3 years, but I mean, at this rate, you just don't know what you might get from him, long story short. Like
Well,
we may be watching something special right now.
it's funny that you say that because another rapper, he dropped a project with another producer this past weekend. I know Nigel listened to it because Nigel was one that put me onto this. So there's this rapper from what group, Nigel?
The Underachievers.
There you go. The Underachievers, AKTHESAVIOR, and the producer is Lord Fubu. I know about Lord Fubu because of ASAP and the Marino Infantry. Shouts out to all them guys. Well, they came out with their project called Hiatus. Nigel's like, yo, check this out. I checked it out, and I went ahead and bought the limited edition vinyl. It's a good, solid project, man.
Right.
The beats are good.
Yep.
His rapping is good. It's not Nas caliber, so I'm not going to sell you. I'm not selling you snake oil, but the rapping is good though. The rapping is good. The beats are definitely key on this project. But with that being said, I'm not saying AKTHESAVIOR, what saved him was the beats. No, but to me, the beats are more of a highlight than the rapping. But the rapping is good. I think this project is definitely solid. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to Lord Fubu. Nigel, what is your quick thoughts on it?
You know, I was listening to it, and I liked a few of his solo projects that he did before, and I like the Underachievers as a group, you know, but I think I do like when AKTHESAVIOR goes out and does his own thing and raps over just like beats and whatnot. When he actually has the right beat selection, he seems to like have good projects. I actually, you know, like him as a solo act.
I have to check it out then. I'm not familiar with AKTHESAVIOR. And I've heard of Lord Fubu, but I'm not familiar with AKTHESAVIOR or Underachievers. But I'll have to check it out. Definitely have to check it out. At first, I was thinking of the Savior.
No. Definitely not. Nah, it's a good project though. Like I think you should definitely check it out. Like it's worth a listen, and the beats are pretty dope. And AK can actually rap.
All right, I'll have to check it out though. I'll definitely have to check it out. Hopefully I get a chance to listen to it between now and the next episode. Same way, but in the meantime, I'm not gonna lie to you. Outside of the Kanye album, what I'm really anticipating is someone actually putting this Wu-Tang album that sold like probably 6-7 years ago on like a streaming platform or YouTube at some point. Because I know it recently, I think the government actually auctioned it off after like season Martin. I think it was Martin Shkreli. I'm not sure if you guys remember that guy or not, but he definitely had a very, very interesting moment in hip hop at one point in time.
Yeah. So, my God.
No, you good, got it.
So, is the person who has this album, are they actually going to put it online?
I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the question.
I don't think they should.
Why?
Why not? Fuck it. Just like have it as this like little mystical thing. You know what I mean? Nobody's heard the album yet. I mean, might as well keep it wrapped up for a long time.
Come on, man. Come on,
you want to hear it. He doesn't have to let you hear shit.
Listen, bro. What you mean?
He doesn't.
The artist said the artist even said, why not play it?
Like they shouldn't have made it that way.
Bro,
I don't know what to say about that.
Bro, it's a concept of art. That's the thing about it.
So don't put it out. Just keep it.
Bro, no.
That's what makes it cool.
No, that's the thing about that's the whole thing about the concept of the whole thing was this is like prior to streaming, bro, where the idea was like, hey, let's make this album that we can give to something that we can sell as an art piece. Because I guess it was their way of trying to show how music is art, especially hip hop. And what happened was Martin Shkreli ended up being the person to buy it. And of course, as the owner, I think he bought it for like almost $1 million, like maybe $1 million or something like that. Or some crazy number. I know it was a high number though. The artists, all the Wu-Tang artists that were involved in it, primarily RZA, who was the primary person I've heard that was making most money off of this thing, was like, yo, yeah, it's up to them to what they want to do with it. But ideally, we would want them to share it at some point. So, I mean, as a fan of Wu-Tang, I would want to hear it. Like,
hey, don't put that shit online though. Just don't do it.
Don't be a hater of art, man.
I'm not.
That is hating on art, though. You don't want someone to share the art. You don't want art to be shared with the world.
Hey, man, I agree and disagree, but I got a quick question. 36 Chambers, top 10 rap album of all time.
Yes.
I could probably put it in there. I'd probably
Yes
could
or
put it
no?
in there. That's a hard question. That's a hard question to ask me off the top.
Yes or no?
No.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I'll probably keep my eyes on the news to see what's happening, along with like seeing this whole thing about COVID, because I know there's been a lot. Definitely the variant, the Delta variant herself. She's definitely came through and made her way, and unfortunately, cases are starting to spike. And based off that, some countries have started doing this, going back into lockdown, and it looks like another lockdown may be coming for us.
So here's my thing, right? Like, are we gonna take bets again as to how long this might last? If you go back to those last episodes, we were all pretty off. Let's just say that
the first episode,
yeah,
the very first episode, listeners. We
it was the
actually
third episode.
The third?
Yep.
Oh, we made bets on the third. I think we had been talking about this for like the first 5 or 6. If you listen, I'll tell the listeners, if you go listen to like the first 10 episodes of this podcast, right? You end up getting the chance to hear a podcast that started pre-pandemic. Literally, episode 1 and 2, I think, were pre-pandemic. And then we go into the pandemic as like a recording style, right? Via what you see now via like Zoom or whatever. But yeah, even then, I think we were like, oh, no, this thing is only going to last for like, they told us 14 days and then we'll be good. And it's been 18 months already.
I think in March, I said May. May is when this will all be done. Yeah, no, I was dead wrong. That's when shit started picking up. That's when shit started getting crazy.
That's when she started twerking, man.
Nah, yeah, that's when George Floyd, all that stuff happened in May. Shit started getting crazy in May, man. It did.
Yeah, rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace, Ahmaud Arbery. Yeah, that was a
rest in peace to everybody that was affected and lost their lives during those situations, and also rest in peace to all the COVID victims. And because there was a lot of people there, unfortunately, that lost their life to something they had no control over, or didn't even know existed.
This has been such a wild, crazy time period that for us growing up through this, like, people are gonna remember these years, like, and remember what we've been going through and all that. And especially if we go through another lockdown, I expect there to be like more self-reflection on society, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully so, because if you go check your Instagram story, at some points you would think we're living in GTA. I'm not gonna hold. I'm not gonna. Yeah, because we're seeing like this is like we lived during a period where, and I don't know how we even stumbled on this, but yeah, we live in a period where like we're really seeing like a human experiment to some extent. Like, what happens if we put these people, and this is like a hypothetical thing, not serious, not like a conspiracy theory type of thing or anything, but like we're literally seeing what happens if we contain people to their homes and refine them from any of their typical outgoings. We refine them to the confines of their home around the people they typically would say they would love for the rest of their lives, into some cases.
I want to say one thing about what you just said. Listeners, we should have a conspiracy theory episode. Not as a normal episode. But as a special episode. The conspiracy theory episode. Because there is a lot of theories about this COVID saga.
Yo, shit, man, it's all, yo. What's up, shit, man?
What?
Nah, go ahead. Rock the boat, man. Rock the boat.
There's a lot of theories going on this COVID stuff. It's very unfortunate. I'm not against people who don't vaccine, but I will say for the people who does get the vaccine, shouts out to you, because you believe that it's best for you. And for people who don't vaccine, shouts out to you as well, because you also believe you won't need it and that's best for you. I think that there's a lot of turmoil amongst the people now because some people think that it's shady business going on behind the scenes, while some other people think like, no, this is the fact of science. So I think when another lockdown happens, I don't know if it will actually happen, but all sides are pointing towards that it could happen, but it's not guaranteed. And I'm not the CDC or anybody up there that can make those calls. So what I will say is, though, like, if another lockdown does happen, I think people will be better suited this lockdown than the last lockdown because they have experience now of like, okay, what stuff will be like. Now, hopefully people won't lose their jobs like they did last time. Hopefully, and I know people are still dealing with unemployment, but hopefully nobody loses their jobs because that's very unfortunate and that's very like detrimental to somebody's livelihood. But barring that, I think people will be more suited to handle another lockdown compared to last time.
Oh, I was gonna say I will say this. I do think people will be more well suited this time around, especially with the NFL season coming around.
All right.
Just because I mean, let's think about it, right? First time this happened, we were going I think going into baseball season. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a big baseball fan, but last time I checked, it's not the number one sport in this country anymore. So like we eventually got basketball. Well, everything got canceled for the most part.
Yeah.
So at least this time people will have sports. I can say that.
Well, here's the thing, right? Shouts out to the Steelers. We won our first game in the preseason. I hope the NFL won't stop because of any type of COVID stuff. But at the same point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But I'm always down to watch the Steelers play. I don't really care. As long as we can play, you know what I mean? Put the mask on, whatever the fuck they have to do to get inside the stadium's cool, as long as I can watch some games personally.
Yo, that's what I forgot to tell you.
What's up?
So at the Kanye show I went to, right, there was something very unique that I saw, that they were actually giving out vaccine shots at the show.
Oh, that's not surprising because guess what? There's in local areas, there's people setting up vaccine stations. So don't be surprised if you see more of that.
That's interesting. So, I mean, who knows? You might end up seeing something like that at the game. But hey, as long as my only concern is, as long as I'm able to wear, as long as people have to wear masks for the time being, at least at the minimum. I'm serious, at the minimum to go to a game, because I think now, similar to when this whole thing initially happened, right? This happened 100 years ago. When COVID first hit, we found out, oh, this happened 100 years ago. And you look at pictures from 100 years ago, you saw people going to football games, but they were all wearing masks. So it looks like you might be able to get a cheap ticket to go see the Steelers play. And all you gotta do is wear your mask, bro. Are you going to go this time?
No. I'll watch it comfortably from the comfort of my couch.
I'm not surprised, fans, because for the fans that don't know, Nigel not a real Steelers fan.
Yeah, okay. You know what I am a fan of though? The UFC. And I was watching that from the comfort of my couch this weekend as well. And Gone, excuse me.
Okay.
Surreal Gone. I know. I heard both of y'all.
It's you got to put some respect on that man's name. Man.
I messed up. Hey, at least I correct myself. I think I might have not correct myself one time on this show. I'm pretty sure. But Surreal Gone went in there and did the thing and finished Derek Lewis. Now, in my opinion, personally, I feel like he kind of did what he was supposed to do. So I'm not mad at him for winning, but at the same point in time, I think it doesn't really move me up much more than what I thought of him before. I thought he was a contender before, and I think this makes him more of a contender. It definitely cements him to a certain degree, but I'm not going to say he's going to go in there and destroy Francis. You know what I mean? That's what I'm not going to do.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the fight between him and Francis is gonna. I feel like you won't really know until you see it. In this case, just because of the Francis that we saw against Stipe versus like what we saw Gandu against Lewis. So against Derek Lewis. So I mean you just don't. You never know what you might get when it's two heavyweights colliding with each other.
That's true.
At the end of the day, but I will say this: congratulations to Gon. Now, how you pronounce his first name again?
Cyril. Yeah.
Cyril. Shout outs to Cyril Gon. It was a good performance. He did what was necessary. It seemed like Derek Lewis just couldn't catch a rhythm, as well as like he couldn't get his shots off for the most part. He did at certain points he did try to like really try to get Gon in to stand and bang with him, but it wasn't going to work. And then, of course, I'm not sure. I didn't do a follow-up on it, but I know it looked like he did hurt his leg at the end of the fight. So, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but what was up with Derek Lewis getting punched in the eye a couple times and thinking he got finger poked?
I mean, he was getting the bleeding head punched off of him. He was getting fucking schooled. Like, I mean, you watched the fight. He was getting cracked, and then he was getting cracked so bad he thought Cyril was cheating. But no, man, he's just punching the shit out of you, punching you out. And
said, bro, you don't hit that hard.
When he knocked him down, he didn't knock him down from a punch. He knocked him down from a forearm. He hit him with a forearm, and then Derek collapsed to his knees, and then it was over. It was over at that point. And first of all, shouts out to Cyril Gon. The heavyweight fight between him and Francis should be an intriguing fight. Right now, I'm choosing Francis to win by either second or third round KO. But that's just who I'm choosing right now. As you know, when the fight gets announced and we get closer, we'll give a much better breakdown of that fight. But for Cyril Gon, man, I picked him to win. Now, I picked him to win by a decision, but I'm not surprised that he finished Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, if he can't get a rhythm going because the guy got no rhythm. He's always been known for that one-shot KO power. He's never been known for being able to mix it up really well. He's never been known for having extraordinary game plans. It's always been like the opponent takes a foot off the gas a little bit, and then Derek Lewis, boom, cracks him. Watch Alexander Volkov when he was beating Derek Lewis the whole fight, and then he thought he was going to cruise, and then next year Derek Lewis knocks him clean out. So I feel like Derek Lewis has a lot of. This is Derek Lewis. Hey, I'm going to throw some switch kicks, some high kicks, because he threw a high kick to Cyril Gon as well. Yeah. But that's really to throw the opponent off so they could be baited into a right hand by Derek Lewis. But if you technically sound like Cyril Gon, you're going to see through all that bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the strikes, right? He outstruck him. I think Derek Lewis, I'm seeing different numbers. He only hit him 8 times, only hit him 6 times. But Cyril Gon, 100 this, 100 that, 100 that. Like,
he didn't even throw a punch in the first round, I don't think. Or he didn't land a punch, I don't think, like that. Or maybe he might have landed like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was the bullshit. But like he missed a lot. He was punching a lot of air. And I think that he probably thought, all I gotta do is hit this motherfucker one time. Instead of trying to put a game plan in, instead of trying to put like, you know, a real effort of like trying to close the distance and trap Cyril Gon from backing away and circling. Cyril Gon was like jumping back from his punches. And I just look at it as like, Derek, it was just a bad matchup for Derek. It just wasn't a good one. So shouts out to Cyril Gon. Derek should have hung his head low. I mean, he's always going to get big fights. You know, he's at the top of the division. So he'll never win a championship. But what I will say is he'll be in big fights. He'll be in fun fights. So he should have hung his head low. There was other few fights that I thought that was good. Like for Sensei Luque choking out Michael Chiesa.
Shouts out to him, man.
Yeah,
I didn't choose him in that fight, but I wanted him to win.
Thank God. Thank God he won. What was the Pride of Rio, Jose Aldo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
did his motherfucking thing.
Yeah, he looked good too. Definitely in the third round.
Yeah.
I want to see him fight TJ Dillashaw, man.
He's
I really do.
TJ Dillashaw.
I hope so.
That would be a good fight.
I hope so. Bantamweight is looking good right now, guys. It's looking good, man.
Is it the most intriguing division right now? Is it?
I want to say the most intriguing, in my opinion, the most intriguing division. And I know some listeners they're going to comment, but they can kiss my ass. I think welterweight is so intriguing right now. Yeah, and here's why. Right, so after Usman and Covington, assuming Usman does win, we don't know if he will win. I understand that, listeners, because people love to twist words. Assuming Usman does win, right? We don't know if he will win. Then there's matchups there. You got Vicente Luque. You got Leon Edwards. I know Dana White, he could pull one out of his ass. Nick Diaz. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some interesting fights, some good fights that can happen. Or Usman might drop a bombshell and move up to middleweight. We don't know. I think, and then that will open up welterweight again. And not only just Usman fighting, what about Gilbert Burns? Gilbert Burns could fight Leon. He could fight Masvidal. I feel like there's all these good matchups in welterweight. Now, will the divas stop bickering and battering so this way they can sign the contract or fight? We'll see. I just think welterweight has more fun matchups that could be made. Bantamweight is good. It is good. But I just think welterweight is just a little more, it's more eyes on the money on that division right now.
Here's why I see it, right? Excuse me. Here's why I see it, right? I think that bantamweight has some of the strongest competition throughout the top 10, and the listeners can check it out in the highly advised top 10 on our post on Instagram if they really want to see. But
check it out. Don't if you really want to see. Check it out. Look at it.
Hey yo, and what day does that typically come out?
Usually that mother effer comes out anytime from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. So if you listen to this right now and you haven't seen it, you're wrong.
So what, like when you look at the top 10 from top to bottom, I think that bantamweight is interesting because you have people in like the 6-7 who could easily be like right back in the mix, with like a win or two. And when I think about like welterweight, I think of like what's going on. Jorge Masvidal just got beat twice. Colby Covington's on the way. And it's like, the way I see it is like, while Vicente Luque and some other matchups like Leon Edwards are interesting, I would have to see those fights actually materialize because I already know what they're going to do with Leon. They're going to set him up in some other fight and he has to win. You know what I mean? And the MMA guys just might not swing that way.
Right. But these are fights that you want to see. At bantamweight, everybody wants to see Piotr Jan beat Aljamain up because nobody likes Aljamain right now because of the whole paper champ, fake champ shit, right? Then they want to see TJ Dillashaw, fight either Rob Font or now Jose Aldo, and then they want to see Cody Garbrandt. He's no longer a bantamweight if you think about it.
Yeah, he moved to featherweight.
He's moved flyweight.
Sorry.
Yeah, moved to flyweight. Then you got Dominic Cruz on his next fight, but I don't know if anybody in the top 5 is going to give Dominic a shot. So I'm not saying bantamweight is not intriguing. No, there's fun fights. I just think that there's more box office fights up at welterweight. Fights that's going to main event or co-main event.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that from that standpoint. I can agree with that just because for me personally, I don't really follow a lot of the lighter weight fighters as much now that we're getting more like action in like the 170. Of course, anytime you have like, well, you already know my whole thing about the champions at the higher divisions right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there's more. I think there's more to box office hit, or just like Lau was saying, just in terms of like the main events or the co-mains. I think you have more opportunity there at 170 right now. And if I'm not gonna lie to you, I really can't see Usman. I mean, I'll put it like this. I can see Usman going up to 185, but I'm not sure how that whole thing will work, especially with the agreement that him and Izzy have. But I mean, we all know, we've seen it in history before where promises get broken. So
I mean, let's not act like they're like best buds either. You know what I mean?
No, well, apparently they are. Apparently him, Ngannou, and himself, they're all like actually real tight. And that's why they, every time like for their fights, they always show up to support each other because it's kind of like this African bond. And I'm not saying it to be like, oh, waving the African flag, even though I am African myself, but we're all African. Fuck it.
So
but I'm more African than both of you guys. But
oh my God. Oh, wow.
Like for real, and I really do think that they're tight. And I just think if Usman does move up to middleweight, it's because Adesanya lost to Whitaker. That's the only way I see it happening. Or Adesanya is like, hey, I'm permanently moving up to light heavyweight.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I lean more to like him. I lean more to either of those two scenarios, but I mean, at the same time, we've already seen him go up to 205, and we saw how he realized like, hey, I think he will move back up to light heavyweight at some point. Mm-hmm. But for the time being, I think Izzy's going to figure out like, okay, I'll dominate my division for the time being. Probably have maybe a couple close fights, possibly with new talent emerging as well. But at the same time, I think he's going to probably figure out a way to fine tune himself so he can actually fight at 205. Similar to like what we saw with even like with John Jones right now, which honestly to me personally with John, it kind of pisses me off at this point, just because it's like it's been 2 years, but he's just trying to get his weight up. But who knows if that fight end up happening with him and Stipe? So
you mean weight up as far as like trying to get his coke up, or or his muscle mass?
Hey,
shouts out to John Jones.
Hey man, go to the gym and ask him, yo.
I'm gonna show up and he's gonna do what Chael said what he was gonna do, run under the cage.
Oh my God.
He hates Chael Sonnen with a passion.
With a passion. Yo, I would hate Chael too, yo. I ended up watching one of his things the other day, and I swear to you, he's probably one of the few people that I've seen that's able to talk about nothing at his finest, at the highest degree.
Oh my God, you're right. Yo,
one of the best talkers.
Yo, he could just about nothing. Hey, Chael, we just need a puff piece for 20 minutes. And he could do it very easily.
Yeah, so I ended up listening to a story about something about like, it was like a 10 minutes video I just had playing while I was doing something. And he's just like, yeah, he's telling this whole story about different wrestlers and all of this stuff. And they said, I forgot the point of this story, but I thought I'll leave you with that at least. At least you got a good story out of me. I'm like, dude, I just listened to you for 10 minutes.
He does that, man. He does it. Like, I've watched multiple videos of his where he's not talking about shit.
He's not.
He's not.
It's like he's dipping, bobbing and weaving punches, man. He's bobbing and weaving conversation at the highest level you can.
He's just good at it. He's good at talking. He is.
I think he would come out of retirement to fight John again.
I
think he would.
I'll put it like this. I don't think he would, but I think he would talk. He would talk the game good enough that we would buy into it.
Okay.
I could see him doing enough for us to buy into it and be like, yo, listen, I'm selling this product that if you guys buy this, I'll fight John Jones with your name signed on me. And then and never fight him. So,
I mean, if they fought again, John would kill him. I think John would probably kill him a lot worse than they did the first time.
Literally rip his limbs out of his arm. I mean, have you seen John Jones at heavyweight? He's a monster of a guy.
I mean, and I wasn't even thinking of his size. I was just thinking of John. Chael should have never fought him in the first place.
Right.
John, he was gonna beat that guy anyway. But anyway, it's just fun to laugh at, fun to be entertained at. So anything else, guys, before we wrap the shit up?
Shout outs to I think Draco lost, right? I didn't watch the fight, but it's apparently there's a fighter named Draco Rodriguez that fights for that was on the prelims. So just shout outs to Draco. The second big, well, he must be if he ends up going on a winning streak, right? That'd be very interesting to see him and Soldier Boy together. Big Draco and Draco the fighter.
Yeah. Soldier Boy's chances are high.
Hey, listen, man. We've seen other people that have been walking other fighters out. So we ain't even got to go into that, but
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He tatted his name too. I was like, wow,
what? Done a good job getting away from that this whole time, y'all.
That's crazy.
There's no reason.
I mean, we never.
No, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it'd be interesting. It will be interesting. But I mean, shout outs to Chael Sonnen. Oh, I did want to say shout outs to Bobby Green. Even though he did lose his fight, it was a good performance nonetheless.
It was.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, it really showed you it was like two fighters that were like evenly skilled to some degree at least, where it was just a good fight to watch. I definitely would take.
Who did you think won? Did you see Bobby won, or you thought the other guy? I don't know if he pronounced it Rafael or Raphael, but
yeah, I think Rafael won. I don't think Bobby did enough in the first round. At some point, I forget which round it was. He started picking up, but it was just like the first round, he just wasn't doing enough for me. I think it was either the first or second round. He didn't do enough that I just know it's like, okay, I'm rooting for you, but if you lose, I'm not upset with the judgment.
Yeah, I think Rafael won though, 29-28.
Yeah,
that third round was all Bobby Green, but
yeah.
I agree with I agree with the decision. One judge gave it 30-27, but you know how these judges are, man.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have a chance to catch the fight or no?
Me, yeah, I watched it. I think I might have fell asleep on a part of that fight. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey man, listen, man. Did you have music playing on in the background?
Probably so.
Yeah,
it was over. So
don't give him a pass, man. Because the other day I was like, oh, I didn't watch the fight. Oh, you're not a real fan.
I was joking.
He was.
It's called joking.
You're just, you're a fake fan. Grumpy cat.
Wow.
But
that's funny.
But like
Grumpy cat.
that's what he called me the other fucking podcast episode.
Did I say that? That shit's funny.
Yeah.
Shout out to me then.
Oh, but I did want to say this before we bow out for this episode. Listeners, candy asses, jabronis, whoever you are, has-beens, watch the Suicide Squad movie. That movie, to me, and to people I've spoken to, except for one person, and we're looking at him right now, find it a very entertaining movie. And to my surprise, I thought John Cena was funny. I thought the dude was going to be corny, but he actually fit the role that he was given for the movie. Now, I don't know, because the writer is like, look, I know how to write a script for you, John, but it worked out for the movie. Suicide Squad, I give it a thumbs up. I thought the movie was good. I liked it. Nigel, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it and I was like, "This is a fun summer movie." No, it is like, no, it's a fun summer movie. It was just something that was nice to watch, put on, and like kind of just not really think too hard about. Like, you know what I mean? When I was watching it, I was just kind of like, I'm ready for another superhero movie, but that's also my shit.
Right. I feel you on that. Like, I mean, superhero stuff isn't like my go-to thing.
Oh, you're waiting to hate. That's why you were laughing like that.
Nah.
Yeah. He was laughing hard as hell. Like,
no, it's the narratives that y'all build. That's what it is.
All right.
It's the narratives.
We like the movie.
It's the narratives that you build, yo. It's the narratives, man. Lau sitting here talking about, everybody I know liked it, except one person that I'm looking at. Then Nigel, I mean, I think it was a great movie. You know what I mean? I think it was really great.
It was cool. I liked it.
It could have been the superhero movie of the year after watching Black Widow.
Hey, they got the recording. They can hear me say that if I said that.
Listen, man. Hey, listen, man. Listen, trust me. If you don't hear, he cut it out.
Wow.
Nigel was like, "Yo, cut all of that."
That's funny.
But I mean, personally, to me, I did check out the movie. It's like I said, superhero movies aren't really my biggest thing, so I watched like half of it. Couldn't really get too deep into the movie. It did seem good for the most part. Shout outs Viola Davis. Shout outs Idris Elba. Shout outs to them too. Oh, and shout outs John Cena. He looked like he was doing good. I'm not gonna give away how the movie starts off, but shout outs to like all other people involved in the movie. But yeah, it was a cool movie. I think it hopefully it leads to even maybe a sequel. If definitely you guys said it was a really good one, or figuring out how whatever. All I can say is this: it's better than the first one. That's the one thing I can definitely say.
I think everybody agrees, whether you like the movie or not. Hey, this is better than the first one.
Yeah, like they understood the assignment this time, and they actually did it the correct way. Where even certain parts of it, like I wasn't the most favored of, but that's just my personal preference. But like, yeah, they actually did this movie justice while still bringing. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but they did the movie justice compared to what we saw in the first one. So
yeah. Also, guess what, listeners, jabronis, candy asses, and has-beens? Nigel said he liked the Jungle Cruise movie, and I'm surprised he liked it because I thought he was not gonna like it because you don't like good movies, you like bad movies.
Yeah,
so.
all right. Jeez, nah, I actually enjoyed it. It's a nice little family flick, similar to like I'll say Indiana Jones, and I can't remember what else I compared it to this past weekend, but it's a nice little friendly movie that's a little corny at points in times, but it's like, family humor type corny. So like, it was all right. I think it's worth the watch personally.
what movie is this?
Jungle Cruise with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I have to check it out. I know. I didn't watch it, but I have to check it out. I know who else was it? I saw that the Wu-Tang, I guess that Wu-Tang series that's on Hulu. Apparently the second season is supposed to come out on the 8th of September.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out, man, because I was watching the first season.
Yeah, and I ended up seeing like a YouTube ad for it. And from what it looks like, it looks like, I guess this time we get to see them go through their deal and going on tour and all of that. It looks like it's going to be super dope. Granted, of course, some people aren't as favoring it because it may not be the accurate, or it may be accurate, inaccurate depiction of like certain artists from the group. But I mean, just for looking at it as just what it is, for the most part, as a show itself is a good show. So
yeah, I noticed that when I was watching it, I was like, I don't know if this is actually accurate 100%, but what I looked at it as like, hey, this is just inspired by true events of the rap group. That's how I looked at it. Not everything needs to be historical, biopic, biography. Look back in the textbooks, page 38, you'll see it. No, you're a dumbass if you do that. So it's entertainment at the end of the day.
Not exactly. And I think at the end of the day, I think most people would say like there's one big question out of the whole thing of like, how do certain people in the group go from having an issue with each other and trying to take each other's heads off to actually being like, oh, a dynamic duo in so many words, right?
Right.
So like I think that was like one of the things that made me realize like, yo, you know what? Just look at this like a TV show. Like you said, inspired by. And then once you look at it from that standpoint, it's an amazing show. So I definitely suggest people check that out. And we will probably give you more of a review on this when the 8th gets here. Because who knows, it may be part of a binge, and we might binge it or we might just milk it. Who knows?
I gotta watch the first season, y'all. And then I'll be there. Don't worry.
You slipping on your pimping, man.
Hey man, I can't even talk shit because I ain't even watched Snowfall. Yeah, I can't even talk shit.
Oh, you did?
I'm on episode 3 now.
Damn. I thought you were gonna be like episode 7 or something like that. It's like the 4th season of the show, I believe, at this point.
The last episode I saw, Franklin got jumped.
Damn, what a spoiler, motherfucking.
I did want to remind the fans, in case they didn't see this, because I think we all kind of brought this up to each other, was apparently that we're getting something that we never thought, I never even dreamed of, is Larry June working and Jay Worthy working with Griselda. Westside Gunn did make an announcement that Griselda and Larry June and Jay Worthy, who's his producer, Larry June's producer, is going to actually work together and actually just make some dope type of project that I don't know what it's going to sound like, especially when we have Griselda in the building. So, and between Griselda and then this chill, laid back style that we get with Larry June, I don't know. I'm really excited for it, but I think people should definitely check this out when it drops.
I'm excited for it. I like Griselda, just like you two guys do. I got a question though, and I don't expect for you guys to give the answers. Maybe a listener or commenter can. But are Larry June and Jay Worthy Griselda, or is this just a partnership?
I think this is a collab.
I would like it if they were on Griselda, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think this is just a collab. Because at first I thought this was them being on Griselda also, because I was hyped for that also. Like, yo, this would be perfect if he joined Griselda. But from talking to someone as well as like really thinking about it, Larry June kind of stamps himself on being an independent artist.
All right.
As well as like Griselda's like this independent label to some extent, I guess.
Right.
So it's like, why would granted you're big, but like I'm doing great for myself. And if I just keep at pace or whatever, right? So I don't know. I think this is more of a collab of like, hey, you're over here, I'm over here. Let's work together. You're you're big on the East Coast. I'm big on the West Coast. And somehow we meet somewhere in the Midwest already in terms of our fandom. So let's just do a project together. So it has the potentials. It has the high potential of being a classic, but it has a high potential of being great, or it could be very bad, depending on how it's handled. But I have faith.
Numbers.
Hey man, shouts out to him. We got anything else?
Imagine hearing numbers and then boom, 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 boom.
Oh, we're definitely gonna hear that.
Numbers.
Sock it to me. Goddamn. Boom, boom, boom.
Numbers.
We got anything else for the listeners?
Numbers.
Yo, Benny and Larry June is gonna be a classic project. If we get a song like that. But only thing I got to tell the listeners, like I've told them for the past 68 episodes, 68 weeks.
Okay.
Damn.
Of doing this.
How long?
68 weeks straight.
Damn.
I've been up for 5 days. Podcasting 5 ways. Dirty and clean. Unedited.
Yeah, all right.
Damn.
But like I've always said, make sure you drink your water, mask up, sanitize yourself as much as you got to. And of course, it's a beautiful face. So I'll be back next week. And if you don't get a chance to see me between now and then, go check out the YouTube, right? Which is the Highly Advised Podcast. Or if you want to even if you don't have time to go sit in front of something to watch it, whatever, because your life is so busy, you can always go. You can always go. Yeah, because their life is so busy. You always can stay notified with what we're dropping by going to following our Instagram page at the Highly Advised Podcast.
Okay.
And of course, if you feel like, oh, I don't like what they're doing and blah, 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 blah. And of course, I know you got your ideas of leaving YouTube comments, which we love. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share it if you like it or hate it.
Dan, tell them.
They called us bozos last week.
Yo, listen, man, I love it. I love it. It takes energy. I don't care what emotion you get. I'm getting it. So, matter of fact, if you called us a bozo last week and you want to call us a bozo in a more direct line, hit us up on Twitter at Advise Highly. So it's how people have you know how this whole thing, this is like the year of the multiple streams of income. We got multiple streams of platforms for you to contact us with, you know? So, and
Numbers.
on top of it, if you're listening to this on Spotify, we're on Apple. If you're listening to this on Apple and you don't know what you're going to do and you might switch over, we on Spotify. Wherever you want to listen, we are there. We like the Candyman. You ain't even got to say our names 5 times. Just open your phone and subscribe, follow, comment, and we'll be there.
Numbers.
You guys have been highly advised. We will see you next week.
Let's go.
You've been highly advised.